Right. Evening, chap. Recording started, so away we go.
Welcome to the No Ifs, Buts and Bogies podcast. We are a no-nonsense, straight-talking golf podcast discussing all the hot topics in the world of golf. This podcast is brought to you in association with Barreto Golf, a stylish, affordable golf clothing brand. Visit barretogolf.com for all the latest offers. That's B-A-R-R-E-T-O golf.com. This podcast is also brought to you on behalf of the Golfer Gang Network. Please do go check out some of the other golfing podcasts. And I would usually say at this point, without further ado, I will pass you on to our host, Mr. Harry Clark. But actually, Harry is not with us today. He is... I made that sound like he was dead. He ain't dead. he's just not with us. He's
just
ill.
A sore throat, mate. Yeah, just a sore throat.
He's not feeling well. So we are flying solo, ABDB, tonight, which is actually not solo at all because there's still two of us. But we are, the two of us are going to be together. Now, Clarky is actually the glue that holds us all together. So it's a little bit of a scrambled one this evening. Do bear with us. But I'll start off by letting AB have a little say. How was your weekend, mate? How are you getting on?
Yeah, very good, mate. Good intro. Better than last week. I still need to practice this music thing. As soon as I push play, I just get engrossed in you trying to read that thing out, and I always get distracted.
I tend to have that sort of effect on people, mate.
Yeah, so I always just start laughing when you start reading that thing out, and I forget to turn the music off or down. But anyway, we're only 3 in. We don't have any sound engineers or anything like that, so we'll figure it out. But yeah, weekend was good, mate. Obviously, it's been a couple of weeks since we spoke. So in that time, I've only played the one round, which was yesterday, Saturday. Had one of those rounds. So because I hadn't played the weekend before over Easter because of all the bank holidays and everything, and doing family stuff, I hadn't played for a fortnight. And I had one of those rounds where you start and I just didn't know how to hold or swing a club. So on my first tee shot, I was normally, I'd normally be all right, but I was just down the left in the trees, like next to the driving range. So at Brampton, all the balls from the driving range come over onto the first hole. So it's like a minefield trying to find your ball when you go down the left. Mm-hmm. So that was my first experience of that because I've normally, in the 7 or 8 rounds, I've been in the middle or on the right. Anyway, found the ball, tried to chip one out, absolutely knifed it, went further down into the trees. Then I tried it again, I topped it. So like I've had 3 shots and I'm still in the middle of nowhere on the first hole. Anyway, that continued. I actually managed to scramble around majority of the round in bogey golf. So I started with a triple and a double, but then it was bogey, bogey, bogey all for like 15 holes. And I just couldn't hole any putts. So I eventually figured out how to do it. And then I got to hole 16, par 3, nailed my tee shot onto the green, 2-putt, par. So I'm thinking, right, 16 holes in, buzzing. But then 17 have nailed my driver, 248 yards, middle of the fairway.
It's a big hit for you, that, pal.
Yeah, put my second shot on the green, 2-putt par. And I'm thinking, where the hell's this been? It's taken me 16 holes. And then I parred the 18th as well. So, it's one of those classic ones where you're just having a bit of a miserable time. You can't find any rhythm. My swing was all over the gaff. And then I finished par, went in the clubhouse, had a pint of pasty, and I'm thinking, I just can't wait to come back until next week.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's one of those rounds that it dragged you back in at the end and it just keeps you wanting more. Someone once told me the most important hole in golf is the 18th hole because it doesn't matter how bad the rest of your round's gone. Yeah. If you finish well on the 18th hole, you'll get in the clubhouse and you think, I could fucking go do that all again, to be honest.
Exactly, yeah. Those last 3 holes, mate, I looked absolutely mint. So I'm not that far off. I just need to try and string it together. But, anyway, that's enough about me. What about you? You were all over the socials on
Yeah,
Friday and Saturday.
I was. So for those of you who follow the main Instagram account, the Barreto Golf account, I had what is called the Dinner Cup over the weekend at North Middlesex. Now, also because of the weather, I also haven't played golf in, what would it be, like 2.5 weeks or something? I think something like that anyway. And I actually felt really good on the weekend. It was a very bizarre round. I'll start off with what the Dinner Cup actually is. So I don't know if this happens at any other golf courses, but it's a tradition at North Middlesex. It was the 102nd Dinner Cup, which is quite remarkable. They've done it every year for 102 years. It's basically marks the start of the season. So it's the first event in the order of merit. It's one of the biggest majors of the year. And the dinner is actually on the Friday night. So you turn up black tie at the golf club on a Friday night, and they have a very cool tradition where previous winners are actually allowed to wear a gold bow tie, but it's very strict. Everyone else is supposed to be strictly in black. And yeah, you have a 3-course dinner on the Friday night. There's speeches from the captain, the toast to the king. We say grace, a proper spread. There was an after-dinner speaker. Bloody good do, actually. And then, yeah, I think there's about 110 golfers, something like that. Just getting absolutely battered. Red wine was flowing. The port is a tradition that the captain puts a bottle of port on every table. So I was very much happy to oblige with that tradition and sink a bit of port after dinner. And then, yeah, they do the draw for the tee times on the Saturday morning at around midnight. And it's half of the battle is to remember what time your bloody tee time is. There are like emails and WhatsApps and stuff going around. But I was very fortunate that I got drawn out at 10:15, which, to be honest with you, in my humble opinion, is the best tee time you can possibly get, because I'm an early riser anyway. And I like to be at the golf club early before my round, cup of tea, hit some balls, do some putts, soak up the atmosphere, take it all in. And yeah, so we had plenty of time to do all that. So we was at the golf club in the morning at about 9ish. My playing partner was a little bit worse for wear, I must say. He was a little bit ropey. It's an individual event, but you sign up with a team of 3, but you have to have 3 on your tee time to get drawn out. Otherwise, they'd be there drawing the names all night. So yeah, we went off. And to be honest with you, if I finished after the first hole, you might have thought I looked like a bloody good golfer, because the first shot, I just felt really good. My swing was so smooth in the cages. I was warm up in the cages or the nets or whatever you want to call them. The first hole was about 325 yards-ish. And I hit 4 hybrid off the tee, straight down the pipe, about 200 yards, right on the edge of the fairway in the middle. So I had about 125 yards uphill, hit a 9-iron to about 6 foot, rolled the putt to a tapped in for a par, and thought, bloody hell.
Buzzing.
That is how you play golf. DB's here we go.
That's how you want to start after a night out as well. Like,
yeah, I thought about ringing the clubhouse. You know that meme when the guy gets the birdie and he was just like, sorry mate, what's the course record? Because I've just birdied the first hole. I was in that sort of mind frame, mate. I was feeling good. But then yeah, at the third hole, which is currently a 100-yard par 3, I managed to shoot an 8 on that one. So I put it in the bunker.
What happened?
I put it in the bunker. Then I knifed it out the bunker, basically out of bounds, out the back. So I had to drop back in the bunker. Then I was dicking around for a bit, and eventually it got in the hole in 8 shots, basically.
Yeah, you're not good with bunkers, are you, mate?
Mate, it's not my forte. But yeah, overall, played some really solid golf. So 2 par 3s, I got a 6. Well, there's 5 par 3s on the course, but on 2 of them, one of them I got a 6, and one of them I got an 8, which is 7 or 6 Terrible. Shots dropped off my handicap. I finished on +7 overall. So the rest of the round was actually very solid golf. I was pretty happy. But the conditions were tough out there. Overall, I finished 21st. So not too many complaints, but another day, I would have been right up in the mixer, I think. Feeling very optimistic for the season ahead. And I actually woke up Sunday morning and got cut 0.2 on my handicap, because handicap system cuts you off at a blob, basically. So the 8 went down as like a 6 or whatever it is. And then the 6 went down as a 5, maybe. I'm not sure. But anyways, I got cut. So, yeah, that basically seals my promotion into the top division of the singles tournaments at North Middlesex Golf Club. Despite the fact that I was talking to the guy who runs all the tournaments, trying to talk myself back into the lower division, because I feel like handicap golf, the higher handicap players, regardless of what anyone says, tend to win more. Their fluctuations on their scores are closer to their handicap because they're more consistent golfers. Whereas if you're off what I'm off, I could shoot like 15 over my handicap, or I could shoot like 5 under. There's no like in between. So, whereas if you play off like 10, the likelihood is you're probably not going to shoot, like 25 to 30 over the course. Would be like a real, like, you just don't see it happen that often. So I'd rather be the top of the second division to try and get my name on the board rather than the bottom of the first division. But let's see what the season brings, and we'll see if I can get some big W's under my belt, because I'm going to be playing with some big boys.
Yeah, fair enough. Well done for getting promoted. And 21st is not bad. If you were on tour, you'd be claiming that as a top 25, which is a stat that they use.
You know what? I was in the top 20 for the majority of the day. So obviously you can watch the scores on your phone on how did I do. Yeah. And when I put my score in, I think I was 9th or 10th, because obviously there's only like 10 groups in front of me or whatever. And I was watching it throughout the day, and there was a lot of big scores coming in, and it was stroke place. There was a lot of NRs. The course was a little bit wet, so people were losing a lot of golf balls where they were like just sinking, or in the rough was quite long. It was quite tough to go around. There was a lot of NRs. In fact, actually, both of my partners NR'd, and we were looking for golf balls for a really long time. Just quickly, because we have got to move on, but I did some of the best scrambling that I've ever done. So on the 11th, which is down the hill, the one, it's in front, it starts, the tee's right behind the pro shop. You go straight down the hill.
Yeah.
So then you've got the 10th green on your right, and then the 9th tee box is like way right. Well, the wind was going that way, but I did slice it, but the wind really helped it. And I was over by the 9th tee box, right? So I've gone over the 10th fairway, and I'm on the 11th, right? So I've gone over there, and I've found it. We looked for it. Ross found it for me, because I actually nearly gave up and went to look for the provisional, which actually went even further right, as it happens. And I found it, so I thought, well, I may as well just give this a smack. So I hit my 4 hybrid. I've absolutely smoked it. It's hit a tree, gone straight down. So I'm still not on the actual fairway that I'm trying to get on after 2 shots. I punch it out from under the tree, and I get up towards the edge of the green. So I'm about 2 yards off the green for 3. I'm thinking, chip, putt, get 5, walk away, bogey golf. And bloody chipped it in for a putt. So I've come across two fairways and chipped it in. So, yeah.
Just there you go.
Yeah. It was real. We were talking about Jordan Spieth the other day when he falls out of his caddy. Like, it was one of those moments, like, any sane person would not have let me try and do the 2 shots that I did. But on this occasion, it paid off.
Yeah. And there you go, folks. That is an accurate tale of how Dan Barreto plays golf. One day you might get to witness it firsthand, but if not, just use your imagination and
Some say it's luck, but when it happens every week, it can't be lucky. You make your own luck in life. It's up here in the mind. Listen to episode 1. It's all about the mind.
Yeah.
Right, let's stop chatting shit now, because the biggest week in golf, in my opinion, my favourite major of the year, the first major of the year, is this week, and that is the Masters. And everyone in golf is absolutely delighted. I was actually this afternoon, so we are filming this, guys, on Sunday, and this afternoon a bit of the drive, putt, chip, or whatever it's called, was on the telly before the football. What's it called? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's right. Drive, chip,
the kids and all do it, and there's a big audience. Yeah. And I was watching some 9-year-old kids. It's like, it must be about 1,000 people watching. Obviously, granted, it's probably just parents of all the other guys, but a lot of pressure on these young guys, because going out on global TV, they're like 9 years old.
Yeah, but they're mint though, aren't they? Compared
They
to
are
us.
good, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them that are a little bit older, like I think they were about 12, 13, probably hitting it further than what we are. So,
Yeah.
says it all.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, so this is supposed to be, even though we're 15 minutes in, this is our Masters preview episode. So, as you've mentioned, it is Masters week. So, I guess, this is a golf podcast. So, a lot of people that listen to us are interested in golf and may know a lot of this information already. But we also get a lot of listeners who are new to the game. So, what I'll do is I'll give a little bit of an overview of what the Masters is. So, as you mentioned, it's the first major of every year. So it always happens second weekend of April. But in terms of major golf, it's quite unique. So it's always at the Augusta National Golf Course every year, and has been since the 1930s. So,
which is absolutely mint, by the way. It's such a nice golf course.
Yeah, so whereas other majors will travel around, and there's one every sort of 5 years at a particular course. Like St Andrews will have the Open like once every 5 years. Some courses have to wait longer, but yeah, the Masters is every year without fail on the same course. It's got a famous clubhouse with the Masters dinner. You get the green jacket for winning, which is an exclusive club. So it's just, it's a very unique event on the golfing calendar. So
for me, it's my favourite major. And as an English person, you probably shouldn't say that because we are ingrained to say the Open. But for me, as someone who lives in front of the TV, and although we've been to the Open a couple of times, and I've never been to the Masters, and obviously we do attend a plethora of live sporting events because we enjoy multiple sports. I think the Masters on TV is one of my favourite 4 days of television throughout the whole year, and I enjoy every moment of it. And I'm one of those people. I saw the meme on Instagram this week where there's two types of golf fans basically, and it's the ones that keep the Masters app all year, and then it's the ones that have to re-download it this week, right? I have it on my phone all year, so I don't want to re-download it. It's there, and it's brilliant because every golfer, it's got every golfer's every single shot, so you can literally go on the app and say, for example, as you will probably learn in my predictions, Bryson DeChambeau is my favorite golfer. I can watch every single shot that man hits on this app this weekend. So it doesn't matter. Even when they go in the water, you can go back and click third shot on par 5 and you will watch it. And it's just a fucking great app. So get it.
Right. So you mean you like physically watch it as opposed to like the other apps that have like the tracer and it shows?
Yeah, so you can watch it. So it's delayed. So by the time you watch it from the app, he'll probably be a hole or 2 holes ahead.
Right.
In theory, if you're a gambler like myself, or if you just generally like golf and you want to follow certain players, or someone hits an eagle and you've missed it on TV or whatever, you can just click on the app, click the player, and watch shot by shot each hole, which is absolutely brilliant. But the reason why, sorry, I started from a bit of a tangent there. The reason why the Masters is my favourite major is I'm, as people will learn, a very traditional man, and I love all the traditions around it. And the fact that it is at the same place every year, the fact that there's the exclusive Champions Club, the Champions locker room, certain people aren't allowed in certain bits of the clubhouse, and it's like a club. Like once you're in the exclusive club, you kind of like rule the roost. You can do what you want, really. Yeah. And I think the whole thing is just brilliant. It's just absolutely, it's right up my street, really. Like the whole thing, like it's just fantastic. Like green jacket, you get in the green jacket club. Anyone who wins a green jacket, they talk about it all the time. Like it's like one of those things. Like, oh yeah, I've got a green jacket. It's almost better than being like, it's the best major to win, in my opinion. Like someone like a Brooks, who's won like 5 majors, but he's won same one 3 times and the other one twice. If you gave him a chance and give him one of those back for a bloody green jacket, he's snapping your hand off without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. Well, firstly, your point there about like the exclusivity point that made me think about Scheffler in full swing. So I think he mugs off Tom Kim, doesn't he? I don't know if you've seen that clip where
parking space.
He goes. That's my parking space. It's like Masters champion.
Yeah.
And I think Tom Kim was parked in it, and he made him move, sort of thing. Like that's the sort of banter you get with the Masters that you wouldn't get anywhere else, really.
Yeah, I think there's like different lounges and stuff in the clubhouse as well, where certain people are allowed to eat and not eat. Because was it Tom Kim as well in that same episode where he literally walked in somewhere and he basically got kicked out?
He wasn't allowed. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think I'm allowed in this bit. And they were like, "Yeah, mate, this way."
I guess so. Speaking about the winning the jacket, someone that hasn't got one is a certain Mr. Rory McIlroy,
which is quite something, to be honest.
It's amazing that he hasn't got one. So just to give a bit of background into his Masters history. So in 2011, before he had won any majors, he was leading the Masters across the first 3 days, and even after the first 9 holes on the final day. And then on the back 9 of that tournament, he had the meltdown of all meltdowns. And I think he finished 8. He went in the back 9, 8 over, and ended up
he didn't
going
even finish like second or third in the end, did he? He was like 5 or 6 back.
Yeah, well, so he lost 8 shots on the back 9, and he went from being leading on 12 under to finishing on 4 under. And I remember watching it, and they didn't actually even like show or like cover his final few holes because he just played himself out of it completely, and absolutely butchered his chance. And since then, so that was 2011. Since then, he's not really had a look in. He's come second, I think, at least once.
He came second when Scotty won, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, but he left it to the last day, and he was second for 8, like just because of how he played on the last day. He was miles out of it, and he was never really close to winning. And then, so he messed that up in 2011, and since then, later on in 2011, he won the US Open, and then he's collected a few more majors between then and 2014. He's had 10 years now without winning any major of any kind, but this is his 10th attempt at trying to complete the Grand Slam.
Yeah.
So he's going into it again with a lot of pressure, a lot of chat about him trying to deliver. I guess his game's not really. He's done all right this weekend, so you never know.
Just on the fact that he's not won a major for 10 years, that in itself is absolutely remarkable.
Yeah, it's madness. I mean,
because if you think about that, that's 40 major attempts. He's come second, I'm pretty sure, in loads of them. I haven't got the official stats, but he's up there, and he's in the top. He's got the most top 10 major finishes in that time period out of everyone. Yeah. He's also, I think one point he dropped to like 12th or 13th or something, but he's basically been the top 10 in the world that whole time and winning events on tour every year and like winning like, FedEx Cups and all that sort of stuff, like golfer of the year and all that sort of jazz. Like he's still widely regarded as like the top 2 or 3 golfers on tour. And he's the face of the PGA Tour, really. And I'm absolutely flabbergasted that, we are sat here having a conversation about this guy hasn't won a major since 2014. Like, if you said in 2014, in 2024, Rory McIlroy will not have won a major, no bookmaker's taking that bet. No bookmaker's taking that bet. Everyone's like, oh, shut up, mate. He'll win something. Like, he'll win it all. And
yeah, I mean, the likes of Koepka have won 4 or 5 years after him and now have gone past him. So yeah. It's mental, really.
It is mad. And I think for the sort of like romantic side of the game, I would say he's up there in like my top sort of 3 or 4 favorite golfers. I follow him regularly. Obviously, Bryson's not on the PGA Tour at the moment. Maybe we'll
come on to that.
But I would love Rory to do it. And obviously, he's not English, but I feel like he's one of ours, isn't he?
He's Northern Irish. So he's British.
I know he's British, but it's a bit like Andy Murray in the tennis, really. But he's not really English, but when they do well, we claim him. So I would like Rory to do it. I actually think maybe this year could be the year. It's set every year, but I think in previous years he tends to have like one of the first 2 rounds are like bad, and like I think was it 2 years ago he missed the cut, which was like
he missed the cut last year.
Was it last year? Was it?
Yeah.
But I just think it's the old added saying where you can't win it on day one, but you certainly can play yourself out of contention.
Yeah.
Just get through it, lad. Like I feel like mentally he's getting like he's there at the moment. I'm feeling good vibes from Rory. Yeah. He was on some podcast this week, CC Roy McIlroy, if you ever want to come on, give us a shout. He was on some podcast this week and he was talking real strong vibes about his like the mental side of the game, body language, all sorts. And I watched the reels, they clipped him up. And I just thought, this guy, he's feeling confident. He's made me believe in him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I was thinking, I'm not sure here. But then the more he was talking, I thought, here we go. It could be. But yeah, the reason a lot of the golfing world want him to win, as you famously just said, is to complete the Grand Slam, which would put him in the most exclusive club in golf, more exclusive than the Masters dining room and Champions Locker, because there are how many? 6 golfers?
So here's a question for you then. So he would become the 6th golfer. So there is currently 5 that have won the Grand Slam. So for anyone that doesn't know, the Grand Slam is at least 1 win across every one of the 4 golfing majors. So the Masters, the US Open, the Open Championship, and the PGA Championship. There's 5 of them. Can you name them?
Well, I could have played along here and reeled them off because I've actually got them written down in front of me. Yeah. So I won't cheat. But if I'm being honest, I only would have got 3 of them. So I would not have got Gene Sarazen or Ben Hogan. But Gary Player, Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods, yes, I would have got.
Okay. Well, it's a shame we're not doing a quiz because I would have got all 5 of those without having to do any research. But
well, you're Mr. Quiz, aren't you, mate?
Anyone
who doesn't know this guy, he sits and watches quiz shows all fucking day when he's working from home. CC, AB's boss.
Anyway, let's move on. So, but we're talking about Rory becoming part of that club, but there are still a load of big names that have been close in their careers that have missed out as well. So, we're putting a lot of pressure on McIlroy, but, the likes of Mickelson, right? He's won 3 out of 4. He's come second at the US Open, I think 5 times, might be 6, but, he's missing that US Open, so he's not in it. Then you've got Arnold Palmer, Tom Watson, and Jordan Spieth. So all 3 of them have won the Masters, the Open, and the US Open. In the case of Palmer and Tom Watson, they've all done that multiple times, but all 3 of them have missed the PGA. So at the moment, McIlroy, Spieth, and I guess technically Mickelson, if he makes another appearance at the US Open, they're the only active golfers at the moment that could become part of it. So this week everyone's all about McIlroy, but then every time the PGA comes around, Spieth's had it because he's been on 3 since 2015 or 2017, around then. So he's had a few goes as well, and then a couple of other sort of older names for any older listeners out there. But Lee Trevino has also never won the Masters, and Sam Snead has never won the US Open. They've both got 6 or 7 majors each, but it is. We've said before, it's an exclusive club, just the 5 golfers. So whilst we're, putting a lot of pressure on McIlroy to deliver, he is trying to achieve something that is absolutely...
It's almost
impossible, but...
It's almost impossible, isn't it? It is.
Yeah.
And like, what I would say as well, controversial statement, inbound. So what I would say is currently in the world of golf, and I would almost blanket this with general world sports, but we won't go too much down it. But the level of actual professional sports people is higher and wider in the field, if that makes sense. So there's more guys in the field now capable of winning a major. So the top levels, I'm not saying like someone like Jack Nicklaus wasn't good at golf, right? He was obviously very good, but now there's like 100 guys on tour that are capable of winning a major. Like any of them could pop up at any time. They are that good. And there's guys that aren't even on the tour that are also extremely, extremely good. So to do it now is almost like harder than when some of these guys done it. Not taking anything away from them.
No, it's like when you compare eras, you can't do it because back then it's a completely different game.
Yeah, for sure. So, for Rory to do it now would cement. I mean, he's already had like a Hall of Fame career, probably. But it would really be like he is the GOAT of this era. There would be no debate about it, in my opinion.
I agree.
Put him on 5 majors, the Grand Slam, bish bash bosh, conversation over. If you're talking about like this era.
I agree with you. We're going to do our tips at the end, but I think rounding up this segment about Rory, I think we're both feeling him this week and we'd love for him to win. So shout out to Roars. We hope you go and get it, pal.
Yeah, go well, mate. And if you want to give us an exclusive in the green jacket, you know where we are.
Yeah.
We're not going anywhere, pal. So you let us know.
Right. We have a laugh, don't we? Right.
Tell me about the honorary starters, AB.
Yeah, well, the honorary starters. So I'm not sure if there's been any announced for this tournament. So, but historically, it was always the big 3, which were Jack Nicklaus, Gary Player, and Arnold Palmer. So 3 very significant Masters champions. And for a long, long time, they set the tone for the week by hitting the first tee shot. So this is another quirk about the Masters, really, is that past champions get to enter. So they obviously don't have to, but a lot of them do just show up and play the first 2 days, Thursday, Friday, and then, inevitably miss the cut because they're old and they're not playing golf regularly.
In the last 5 years, I'm pretty sure Tom Watson made the cut on one of them.
Yeah, I think he probably has, and I think Bernard Langer did it as well.
Yeah.
But for example, the likes of like Olafable, he's like last in the betting at the moment. He's 7,500 to 1. He's not actively playing golf, but he'll show up because it's Masters Week. He's a past champion. He's proud about that.
And he'll show up because he's in the club, baby, and he can do what he wants.
Exactly. So they're the honorary starters traditionally. Obviously, a few years ago, Arnold Palmer passed away. So the mantle passed over to Tom Watson. So it became Nicklaus, Gary Player, and Tom Watson. But honestly, I don't know. I haven't heard any announcement for this week. I think they usually do it when the tee times come out. I don't think the tee times have come out yet. But it's always a nice start. I get up. No, it's abroad, isn't it? So
yes, mate.
Yeah, it's not an early start for us, but we tune in the afternoon and like to see them hit usually about 6:30, I think, in the morning, first tee.
Yeah,
and
it's early.
Set the tone for the tournament.
Yeah, it's good. And another one of the really cool traditions that Augusta has is like it's a bit of a family day. You see a lot of their players take their wives and their kids around and all that sort of stuff. But they also have the par 3 tournament as well, don't they?
Exactly. Yeah. So
is on the Wednesday.
Yeah, par 3 on the Wednesday. I think it's only like 9 holes, and it's just, as you say, it's meant to be a family day out, a bit of fun. But there is a curse associated with this because if you win the par 3 on the Wednesday of the tournament, you don't end up winning basically the Masters for that year. So no one has won both, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So it's branded as this par 3 curse. And yeah, so I guess if we want McIlroy to win, we don't want him to win the par 3, basically, because then he'll just be fucked already before he's even started.
Well, I believe in all that sort of stuff, right? I'm all about it. And I like a bit of superstition, all that. So if I was ever good enough to play at Augusta in the Masters and in the par 3, and I was winning the par 3 and I was aware of it, I would just fucking hit one down the wrong hole or something, and just just card a 9 or something like that, and just DNR, do not finish the round.
Yeah,
right. That's DNR. That's do not resuscitate. I meant NR, non-round. But just don't do it. And that's for me. I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. But remember Tony Finau a few years ago when he hit the hole in one, ran down to celebrate, dislocated his ankle, and had to pop it back in his shoe.
Yeah, he popped it back in immediately, didn't he? And
yeah.
I mean, it is a good watch, and it's got as many sort of memorable moments as the main tournament, really. But you're just always aware of that curse whenever the winner, is presented with whatever for being the par 3 champion. They always give it the big in about, I want to break the curse and I'm going to go and win the Masters and stuff. No one, like we said, no one's ever done it. So I agree. Have fun. Don't take it too seriously, and most certainly don't try and win it, basically.
Yeah. Also, cue the Instagram reels of every golfer skipping it over that lake, because I could watch those all day, to be fair.
Jon Rahm's the best
Jon Rahm hit hole in one, didn't he?
He's the best one that I've seen do it.
But yeah, anyways, AB, grit your teeth for this one, because I know this is going to be painful for you. But talking of winning things and being the winner, I would like you to tell me how many of the past Masters champions are currently playing on the tour that shall not be named Live Golf, because there's far too many for your liking, isn't there, pal?
Yeah, well, this is, I guess, part of the reason why Live started to take off was because of the players that they started to attract, I guess, in 2022 when they were forming the tour. And if we go back to 2010, so obviously if you're on the Live Tour now, you would have played golf in the last 15 years. If you go back to 2010, 8 out of the last 13 winners of the Masters tournament now ply their trade on the Live Tour. So they are Mr. Jon Rahm, who obviously won. Well, he's the defending champion, so that's obviously a big scalp for the Live Tour. But then you've also got DJ, Patrick Reed, Sergio Garcia, Bubba Watson, who's won it twice in that time, Phil Mickelson, and then Charles Schwartzel. So 8 out of the last 13 tournaments that have been played at the Masters have been won by guys that are now on that tour. And, like I said, it gave that tour legs by recruiting all these Masters champions. And it's also part of the reason why the majors have kind of collectively sort of stepped away from the arguments, because we've talked about the Champions Club and the winners of the Green Jacket and the dinners and everything like that. Augusta, the golf club, the tournament physically can't tell these guys you're no longer welcome at this tournament. So because they can't do that, the rest of the majors have gone, okay, well, we don't have the same sort of rules there, but if you're going to let them be in the Masters, we kind of got to let them in the rest of the majors. And so these guys have been really key in Live sort of taking off. And I guess when you look at the history of it, there's been more wins by a person that's now on the Live side than there has been on the PGA side. Yeah. So obviously this whole debate is getting a bit long in the tooth. We could go on about it for hours, but the point is we would prefer if someone that was still playing on the PGA Tour won the event. Put it that way.
So just quickly, the 8 players are Jon Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Reed, Sergio Garcia, Bubba Watson, Phil Mickelson, and Charles Schwartzel.
Yeah, I said that before,
Yeah. So I think, and then obviously you've got other Live players that have done well in previous majors or previous Masters events, or currently in the top 50 in the world rankings. So Smith, Koepka, DeChambeau, Neiman, Hatton, and Moronk are all playing as well. So
there's a whole lot of them coming over, basically.
Yeah. So, and do you know what? And obviously, I actually, in a weird way, it's sort of elevated the majors a little bit because I do quite like the narrative of it all. If I'm being totally honest, I like a bit of needle. Not that there's any needle amongst the players, but I quite enjoy it. I think it adds a little bit of spice to it. And though I don't really agree with the Live Tour, and I prefer it if they all just play on the same tour all the time and we watched it every week. It is nice when they are all playing against each other and together, because ultimately you want to see the best golfers in the world play against the best golfers in the world. And if Bryson won, I would be delighted for the lad. Close personal friend of mine that I've followed for a long time. I'd like him to do well. But yeah, I can't. Overall, though, my choice for the week would be Rory. But we'll come on to our predictions shortly. But any further thoughts on the Live, boys?
Not particularly. I mean, I think we've said it all. So I think we've segued nicely into our tipping.
Yeah.
So I guess you wouldn't mind if Bryson won. We've both said, we're backing Rory as our sort of favourite. But
so in the element of picking someone different for the favourite ones, because we'll go head to head and we'll have a little competition, right?
Okay, fine. Yeah, I was going to say let's do a favourite. Let's do a mid-range, and we'll do an outside pick.
Okay.
And then you go first.
Okay, so my favourite, in inverted commas, because he's a little bit down, but I've got newfound respect for him, so I'll call him like my like top 10 golfer-ish. I think he's actually just outside of that. But I will go for Wyndham Clark.
Okay, yeah, it's a fair shout. He's playing really well. And like you say, yeah, he's become a new favourite of ours from Full Swing, and all the mental work that he's been doing, which is similar to ourselves. And okay, that's not a bad shout. I mean, I'll stick with Rory. I think as my favourite. I don't think anything more needs to be said there. So, what's your mid-range pick?
My mid-range, I'm going to sneak this one in because I think it technically is similar odds to the one that you're going to pick, but I'm going to go for Bryson as my mid-ranger.
That's fair. He is. So he's one of these guys.
I personally would say if he was on a PGA Tour, he'd be in the top 10 golfers in the world, in my humble opinion.
He probably
would.
He's
not, and he's not.
Yeah.
And also something that I meant to do a bit of research on, but I'm not really sure how it works. Obviously, he actually won his major in like 2019. So I think, wasn't it? Or was it 2020?
No, I think he was the US Open champion in 2020 because it was lockdown, and he went on interview on he FaceTimed his parents because they weren't able to watch.
Yeah. So
he won the US Open in 2020, and
yes.
I'm pretty sure major exemptions is 5 years.
Well, so this is what I was going to come on to actually, just like on the tail end of the Live stuff is.
Yeah.
If he doesn't start doing something in the majors, because he hasn't really in recent times, he could get himself in a bit of a pickle. And I don't want to watch major golf without Bryson DeChambeau, because I feel like he's the sort of bloke that brings a lot of eyeballs to the sports, regardless of what anyone thinks about him. I love the guy. And he's actually one of the golfers in the world that's built online like a really good like social presence. And he does bring a lot of eyeballs to it. His YouTube channel's got like probably about 500,000 subs now. Don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it was growing rapidly. And he does a lot of stuff with like the influencers. He actually was just in a good major this week. And in terms of like growing the game in inverted commas, I hate he hates that one, but he actually is someone.
Yeah, in fairness, Bryson does do it, and I don't mind him. I don't have anything against the geezer. I do get a little bit annoyed when he chirps about ranking and promoting his tour and all this other bollocks because, he made his decision, so he should just take his medicine and get on with it. But anyway. So your mid-range pick is Bryson. Mine, I'm going Shane Lowry, Shanel, one of my favourite golfers, I guess, alongside Rory. Must be something about the Irish. I just absolutely love the bloke. He is, he's not actually won that often, if at all, on the PGA Tour. And he's obviously a major champion. So he won the Open in 2019. He's still sort of top 50 in the world. I think he's about 45, 50 to 1. So it's a little mid-range punt there. I have a few quid each way. And I always back him in most of the major tournaments. So hopefully he'll have a good week this week. And I wish him all the best.
And then my outsider might be a little bit short. He's 66 to 1. Does that count as an outsider?
You can, if you want to count it as an outsider, mate, you count it.
Right. So I've obviously got I alluded to the fact earlier that I'm a bit of a punter, like a gamble. Yeah. And I like this guy because he is from where we are actually born, which is Canada. And I usually regularly bet on him. So I will go for Corey Connors as my outside punt. And he's usually not bad for a little each way. Every now and then he'll pop up and you get a bit of return.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. I like Corey as well. He's a decent player. I think I've bet on him in the Masters before, and he came close.
Yeah, I think he's had a couple
of few years. I think I got a bit of a payout on him, but 66 to 1, fine. My outsider is a proper outsider. Ryan Fox, I'm going with. He's currently, I think, 175 to 1, so it is a proper punt. But I just think he's done pretty well on the DP Tour and on the PGA Tour recently. And he's making a name for himself, especially over in America now that he's like fully on the PGA Tour. May not have a good week, but I think it might be worth a quid each way. Have a little punt on him as a proper outside shout. I think he's done reasonably well in recent majors, and like I said, he's been making a name for himself, getting a bit more of a stature on tour. And so, I think he might have a good week.
Cool. So quick recap. I've gone Wyndham Clark, Bryson and Corey Connors, and you've gone Rory, Shane Lowry, and Foxy. So we'll have a little. What should we have a little tenner on it, me and you? See, we'll do it the cumulative position finish, and then see the overall. We'll have a little tenner, and Also, guys, send us in who you think might win, and just let us know who you're rooting for. Always enjoy hearing from you guys. So thanks for all the support so far. We actually have done a lot better than what we thought we were going to do. So thanks for listening.
And we appreciate all the feedback. Like DB said, it's been mostly constructive. I think one of which is playing the theme tune as we leave. So, I'll give that a go in a minute. But we appreciate all the feedback and all the listeners. As you can see, it's just me and DB. We kind of make it up as we go along. Harry, when he's here, is much better, and it will help us, segue between things. But I think we've done all right as a pair. But hopefully Harry will get better and ready for the next record. And we'll go from there.
We wish you well, Harry. Get well soon, fella. Like, share, follow, subscribe. What's it? Leave a review.
5 stars, boys. 5 stars.
5 stars. 5 stars only. It's like that guy on Instagram, 10s only season. We only deal with 5 stars. So if you're only going to leave 4-star, don't bother. 5 stars only.
Right. Let's finish. We're rambling on now.
Masters Week. Here we go. We will hopefully deliver another podcast very soon. We've got some guests lined up, some exciting things in the pipeline. But the more you support us, the bigger guests we can get. So here we go. Rory, shout us. You know where you are.
All right. Speak to you next week.
Cheers, guys. That's quieter than the intro.